Good morning. So the government shut down, and there's an article here on what a government shutdown could mean for housing. For this purposes, for this discussion, we're going to come down here and talk about what the flood insurance impact is because of the uh, confusion. I'm going to read this. I'm not going to try to interpret it. Another significant impact that homeowners face during a government shutdown is the lapse of authorization for the National Flood Insurance Program, which insures about 5 million homes across the country. When the NFIP isn't authorized, homeowners cannot purchase policies or renew existing ones. While current NFIP policies remain in force until their expiration date, they can't be renewed until Congress reauthorizes the program, a fact that the Treasury Department and federal regulators confirmed. The gap in coverage is especially critical because standard homeowner insurance doesn't cover flood damage. For anyone buying a home in a high-risk flood zone, known as a special flood hazard area, flood insurance is required to close on a mortgage. Some lenders may allow closings to proceed if private flood insurance is available and accepted. However, that is not always an option. According to First Street, a New York-based nonprofit research company, while private insurers may fill the gaps, coverage could be less consistent, straining household financing and complicating mortgage markets. That's a difficult way of saying it's more expensive. The ripple effects are substantial. Nationwide, the National Association of Realtors estimates that a lapse in the NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, would affect about 1,300 property sales each day, roughly 40,000 closings per month. For buyers and sellers, that means uncertainty, delays, and in some cases, deals that simply can't go forward. For current homeowners, the risks are just as real. If an NFIP policy expires during the shutdown, there's a risk of being uninsured from flood damage until the program resumes and the policy can be renewed. This leaves families financially vulnerable if a flood occurs during the lapse. The good news, claims on existing in-force NFIP policies are still paid as long as the policy was active before the lapse. Experts urge homeowners to stay in close contact with their lender and insurance agent to understand their options and requirements. It's also wise to keep documentation of all communications and any attempts to renew coverage. There are 2 full months between today and the end of the hurricane season, and every day more and more Americans will needlessly be put at risk of losing everything in a flood. We cannot allow this to happen, said Neil Aldrich, president and CEO of the National Association of Mutual Insurance Companies. He added, decades of poor policy decisions, from failing to maintain adequate flood mapping to hidden subsidies that provide a false sense of security and encourage development in flood-prone areas, have put millions of Americans in the path of floodwaters. Many of them, though not enough, wisely choose to protect themselves by purchasing flood insurance through NFIP. They should not be put at risk because Congress cannot do its job. And we want to give credit to Danny Romero. I want to go back and I want to reread this because this is really confusing. For current homeowners, the risks are just as real. If an NFIP policy expires during the shutdown, there's a risk of being uninsured from flood damage until the program resumes and the policy can be renewed. This leaves families financially vulnerable if a flood occurs during the lapse. The good news, claims on existing in-force NFI policies are still paid as long as the policy was active before the lapse. To me, that sounds like good news, but ultimately we'll find out when people make claims. Hey, I'm Randy Jenkins. Appreciate you watching this video. Have a great day.